Hi, I'm Meg.
And I'm David.
Welcome to The Average Vegans, a podcast to help you live an attainable vegan lifestyle. We're not the ripped influencer vegans you hear about in other podcasts. We're just some ordinary people living in the South, eating plants and loving animals.
And on this episode, we're discussing dealing with stress.
Oh my god.
I, I didn't know. I gotta make it weird.
I was looking at that going, what the hell is he going to do to this poor little sentence? What is he going to say?
It's easy, right? I mean, it's
Oh,
it's dealing
so
with
weird.
stress. Apparently, says dealing with stress. But I was like, well,
Yes.
I can mess with the e. That's easy, but that's not enough. Dealing. That sounds funny. So
Oh,
dealing with
this
stress.
this is stress that you've put on yourself. For
Hey,
every
man,
episode. You have to make the
making
title sound
myself laugh
stupid.
is actually a de-stressor.
There you go. There you go. You turned it around.
So
I love it. I
there
love
you
it.
go.
I love it.
That's a bonus tip. Make yourself laugh. Laughing is a great. Laughing is actually medically proven to be a great way to handle stress. So there you go.
Well, that's why I like recording our podcast because I definitely laugh a bunch.
I'm glad to help.
So it's a stress reliever, but it also makes me like not be able to sleep because I'm all pumped up after we record. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
No,
Okay.
getting pumped up is not what we're talking about. We're talking about dealing with stress.
All right. So we are a vegan podcast, but we do like to talk about environmental issues and mental health as well. So this episode's all about dealing with stress. We all have stress in our lives, and as the holidays are approaching, more so, especially if you're dealing with family, it's even more so if you just went vegan. So it's a lot of stress to deal with. So we're hoping that in this episode we might be able to help some of you find unique, creative ways to deal with your stress. We each wrote 10 things down, which was actually super easy for me to do.
Oh yeah, I knocked mine out really fast.
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty excited about this. Right now, I'm dealing with a lot of stress in my personal life, and I am using all of my 10 list. So,
I tend to have my stress in the middle of the day, so I'm like, I gotta do one of these.
oh, that's interesting.
Mine's usually
That
in the
is
middle of the day. I'm like,
interesting.
nope,
Yeah.
nope, I'm out. I'm about to like fly out somewhere in another state and like smack a bitch. So,
Oh my, so violent.
hey man,
Oh
violent
my
vegan
gosh.
over here.
So we are going to talk about our 10 things each. So 20 things, ways to deal with stress. But I have to make a little tangent, little segue to something else. All right. Publix is a grocery store that some states have, not all of them, but some. And they have subs, sandwiches. They're amazing. They're delicious. Everyone loves a Publix sub. I have not had one in well over 7 years because I am vegan and they don't have anything for me. So they have come out with actually two vegan subs. One is a sub, one's a wrap. But it's basically a meatless turkey club is what they're calling it. So I went today just to see what the hype was about. You guys, I can't even. I'm so excited to tell this story. The man looked at me and he goes, "All right, okay." And then he turned, and I'm not exaggerating with the tone. And he turned around and he looked at the menu and read the ingredients. And I was like, this must be new. And I mean, I knew it was new, but I didn't know how new. And he said they just changed the menu yesterday.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh crap, we're new. And I'm the first person to order this, right? So he goes in the back and he gets this like bag of ingredients. And I'm like, okay. So he pulls them out and he looks at each one very closely. So one is the Unreal like vegan lunch meat.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is the Light Life bacon.
Oh,
and then there was the Daya cheese, the slices. Online it says like the Chow cheese, but that's not what they had. And he really looked at every single one and he was like, okay, this is fine. And then I pick my bread, and then he starts to like open up the unreal meat, and I'm like, oh, let's just see how this goes. And he goes, this looks good. I just started giggling. I'm like, I've never heard such a fake comment, like a fake customer service comment in my life. He's like, this looks good. I was like, okay, thanks. And
Tasty. I almost smacked
he
taste out your mouth,
opens
boy.
the bacon. He goes, okay. And I'm like, that's not the best vegan bacon there is. This is just a good option. I'm just saying. And I'm like, it's good, but it's not my favorite kind. And he goes, okay, it kind of looks like a sliced hot dog. And I'm like, oh, don't ruin it for me.
God.
I was like, ew. And then he pulls the cheese out. And I'm like, also not my favorite cheese, but
Yeah.
it'll do. And
Oh,
it's
mine
probably
is.
going to be fine. And he was like, okay. And he just, every single thing, it was like I was asking him to make me like food from Play-Doh or something. I don't know. It was hysterical the way
Wow.
that he was fake. His face was so fake. And I'm not even exaggerating. The other deli workers came over to look at my sandwich.
What?
Not like up close, because I'm like, I'm about to be like, I don't want your COVID covered Sammy, but like, don't step all up in my food. But they all like came around and like looked at my sub to see what it looked like. So I added the veggies on top, and he even had a vegan ranch, and he showed me the bottle to like show me. And I was like, okay, okay. Delicious. It
Nice.
was so good. And I didn't have to make it myself.
I'm gonna go
Um,
grab one, man. That
he
sounds
was
really good.
so nice. But the man was like, okay, well, here. And then I was like, well, I have one more sub, and it's for my husband. And then when I told him it was definitely not a vegan option, he was like, okay. And it was almost like a breath of like relief came over, or
Oh, a normal
whatever, a wave of relief came over him. He was just like, oh, good, something I've done before. He's like, not this weird thing. And I was like, listen, Subway only gives me like veggies on some bread. I'm like, they're really crappy. I'm like, I want to be back here. So this is not the last time you're going to make this sub. I'm like, I'm going to come back because this is exciting that there's this option. It was so funny. He's like, well, I hope it's good. And he handed it to me, and I'm like, it'll be fine.
good, trust me.
Thanks. Like, he really was just like, I don't know what I just made this lady. I don't know what the hell this is. Oh, it was quite an experience. I laughed the whole time, like a little, my giggle.
Oh, I know it.
Just
I look. I'm gonna look at
giggled
our.
the whole
I look at our audio. I
time.
can find it. I'm like, oh, that's where Meg laughed.
Oh my God, I died. Oh, it was so good. He just was truly baffled by what I was having him make me. But, he experienced something new today. He probably told everybody. He probably left a note for the freaking next crew. Guess what I did? I made one of the vegan subs.
What's interesting too is like the Unreal, like meat, whatever you want to call it, that they use.
Yeah.
Is the woman's? It's actually a woman-owned company. It's not some big,
Mhm.
massive company. She's from Florida. She lives in California now, but she's from Florida.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I posted about the sub on our Instagram, and Publix responded, and I was like, listen, thank you. Like, I'm coming back. It's
I
my
feel
go-to
seen.
now. It was so cool. So that's my little spiel.
Nice.
Everybody go to Publix, support them because they actually give us something. I was like, this makes sense for you guys. I said this to the guy. I was like, because you have the products right there.
Yeah.
They're like right there. You might as well give me an option.
Now, previously, if you went to Publix, this is like a hack. By the way, it's still a hack if you don't want to use this. If you take like ingredients if you pre buy already pay for ingredients, they'll make it into a sandwich for you.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So if you went and bought like your vegan cheeses and your vegan meats and your vegans, whatever, like, will you make this a sandwich? And you've already paid for it, they'll like make the sandwich and stuff, use their bread and stuff for you. So if there's some ingredient you want on there that they don't have, like if you want a different cheese, you just go buy the cheese and then tell them to use that one instead, and they'll switch it out for you.
My mouth is hanging open.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Right.
I would have been there before.
Right. And it could be.
I wonder if so many people did that they were like, fuck it, let's just add one to the menu now.
Well, yeah, because like it's more expensive to buy your own, for,
Right.
Because you have to buy everything and then get one sandwich out of it, it's more expensive. But if you just pay like $8-9 when you get the whole thing, it's cheaper. But that'd be a barrier. Like I wouldn't go buy everything just to have a single sandwich because I don't eat sandwiches that often, though I love sandwiches. But I would do this because I could buy one sandwich, call it a day, and they're done. So now,
and it actually, they wrap them separately. If you get a foot long, they wrap each 6-inch separately, which I
nice.
think is really nice.
Yeah.
So I had one during lunch, and then I had the second half just now for dinner, and it was still wasn't soggy, it wasn't gross because it's like thick bread, you know. It's not like Subway bread that like goes to mush.
Yeah, you eat like 3 bites and like that's all you can eat at a time too. So.
I know. I get full really quickly. Shut up.
I'm like,
makes me sad. Okay.
Are you done? Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I know. Everybody makes comments. Whatever.
They should. It's weird.
Anyway, let's get to our list.
All right.
Ways of dealing with stress. I'm going to start my list. I'm gonna not pick the first one. Let me see.
Going rogue.
Okay, I'm gonna do creating art to just create art. So I have a problem with that. A little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to creating things. So sometimes when I am feeling super like overwhelmed with emotions, and I don't feel like writing them out, I a little bit paint them out. So, and you can do both at the same time. So there's a lot of specific art therapy practices that you can find on TikTok. There's this like amazing curly haired therapist lady that I love to death. I can't think of her name right now, but she does like art therapy practices that you guys can do at home. And some of them are kind of therapeutic in a way because you are writing on a piece of paper your thoughts, your emotions, how you're feeling, and then you're painting over it.
Ooh.
Which I love.
Interesting.
I love so much. So sometimes she paints completely over them. Sometimes where it's like now the words are gone and it's just like they're there, but nobody else knows they're there. Sometimes they're like you can still see them, but they're kind of covered. There's also blackout poetry. So you can take like a newspaper article and literally use, like when they black out things in police reports or whatever, use Sharpies and make like a poem or a sentence by picking out words in a block of text and blacking out all the other words. So that kind of thing makes you kind of focus on the good, right? So you're looking at this big block of text, but you're going to pull out like specific words that make a sentence that feels good to you. That's a way to kind of take your mind off the negative, a way to focus on something positive. When you do art, like writing out your thoughts and covering up with paint, that's a way to get your thoughts out and then also make something beautiful out of something that is stressful. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff the other night. So I did the first layer of writing and drawing. And then I get to do the painting layer where I kind of get to just be like, okay, I let it out. I dealt with those emotions. Now I'm going to cover them up with some pretty paint. But it doesn't have to be perfect, which is really difficult. Doesn't have to. I know, David, it's hard for you, real hard for you. It doesn't have to be something that I share. It doesn't have to be something that I, make a video and post on social media or try to sell because, I make my art into things I sell because I'm ridiculous. It can just be art. It can just be paint or markers or pen on paper or canvas or whatever the hell you want it to be. Just kind of creating something that literally may sit on your desk for a day or two and then you may throw it away. It's okay. You can also, recycle art in different ways. I'm not encouraging you to make a bunch of art you throw away, but you can recycle it too. But I just like to force myself to get away from that perfectionist thing, get some of my feelings out, create something pretty that's not perfect. And breaking myself away from that perfectionism kind of thing is really difficult for me. But that is one of my ways of dealing with stress. Art. I know you're shocked.
Totally shocked. I it's funny. I wrote
Would
that.
never.
I put that in my list too. And I was like, oh, she did that already. Let's back to that.
All right, you pick one of yours.
So I'm gonna go down my list, top bottom notes. I'll forget which one I did.
Oh, okay.
So mine is just go outside. First one,
Yeah.
just get out of the house if you can. But it's go like on your deck or your patio or your porch or just kind of walk. Like you don't have to go. I'm not saying like go for a walk and walk a mile and just get outside.
Yeah.
Step away from whatever you're doing. Get away from if it's the family that's stressing you out, if it's work, if it's whatever. Just get out, get in the air, get in the sun, get in the moonlight, whatever it is, and just like go out, just get outside. I mean, there are times middle of the day or like at the end of the day, I'll just go sit. I'll go to my back patio, and I'll just sit in the chair with like my phone, just listen to like TikToks or YouTube, and I'm not saying silence. You don't have to get outside, just like meditate and no, just sit with your phone. Just get outside,
Yes.
get some fresh air, smell the grass, see the trees below. I mean, if it's raining or like a hurricane coming, by all means, don't do this. But go outside if it's safe, right?
Yes.
But get outside. I guess that do that regularly. I'll even grab like a little adult beverage, a little drink, and just kind of sit in the back of my patio and just prop my phone up and just swipe through and read stuff and just like not be around other things, other people, other whatever.
Yes.
So that's mine.
I have two that kind of fit exactly with go outside. There's specific things to do outside. How's that?
There you go.
So I have hammock swinging. I have a hammock in my backyard that I love and I use when I'm feeling super stressed. I don't know why it feels so good to like hang and swing, where you just feel weightless for a second and you're just hanging in a hammock. It feels so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that I have one of those it's there's different kinds of hammocks, and I have not the ones where they're like kind of flat and you just lay on them.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have one where it kind of you can cocoon yourself in it.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
And I like that because I do like to cocoon myself in there and just be like, F you world. I'm not coming out of this thing until you make me. And it feels nice to sway again when it's nice outside. You're getting some fresh air, you're getting some sunshine. I do like to do that at dusk when the sun is going down. It's like, oh, such nice vibes. It's going to be perfect weather right now for hammock season, so you can look on cheap places to get hammocks. There's a lot of natural places to get them. I'm sure there's a bunch of vegan places where you can buy hammocks. I definitely recommend a little hammock swinging in your life. I'm going to keep going because my next one is also outdoorsy. Time in the garden. So this is something that's really important to me. My husband and I had a garden years ago, but we didn't have the time nor money to invest in really growing our garden. And then in the past year and a half, we cut down a bunch of trees in our backyard that were dead and dangerous and about to take a house out. I mean, it was close. We took down a bunch of scary trees, and now we have created this really nice area with a big garden, 2 raised beds, a whole container garden. Just a bunch of beautiful vegetables and fruit and flowers growing, and it's my favorite thing in the world. I will say my favorite time in the garden is obviously early morning or right before it gets dark, but I have to be careful because there are coyotes that are everywhere in our neighborhood, especially really early in the morning. So I was out there the other morning in the garden, just, walking around before work started with my grand dog, my big giant, I don't even know how much he weighs right now, 90-pound black lab. He's huge. We're just walking around, and suddenly he's like on alert, looking in the field behind me. And I'm like, what? Oh. And I look over and there's a coyote just running right towards us, looking right at him. And I was like, oh, fuck my life. So I try to get the dog to run. He's just like, what? That looks like a dude I want to hang out with. Because he's, grandson's a little dumb sometimes. So I just yelled the word treats a bunch. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll go. And so I got him inside. Because while there is like 2 small fences between me and where the coyote is, they're small. And that little bitch could get over them and no problem. So I do have to be careful in my garden. But besides those scary moments, it is a pure joy to grow things, especially from seed, to nurture them, to give my time to them, to get like the rewards at the end. I haven't had to buy a tomato in months. And I eat them every single day. It's so wonderful, and we will garden forever now, especially because we've created this whole area, and I'll be pissed if we don't. So much work. Oh, but it really has been a joy. So if you have the ability to garden, and that could be like 1 pepper plant, I mean, it could be nothing. It could be very small. I would say do it because it gives you a reason to go outside, something to care about other than yourself, something to focus on to keep alive. And it gives you such a reward at the end, especially if it's like a fruit or vegetable or a beautiful flower. I mean, that's pretty too. So time in the garden, get it. Okay, I'll stop talking. Okay.
Yeah, I thought about I want to get like a couple above ground garden beds, but I'm always worried like that I would get distracted and forget about it and be like, oh, I killed everything.
Well, I could just yell at you and remind you.
I did that with tomatoes. I had these little buckets I was growing tomatoes in, and like they died very quickly.
Well, I can help you
a lot.
I have a pepper plant I can give you right now.
I would probably kill her.
So many.
No, God, I've seen her garden, guys. It's it's a lot, but it's very cool. I'm super impressed. I mean, your cucumbers are still growing too. It's crazy.
Yes, it is. They're wild right now. I had to use a little vegan hack. We had some ants attacking our cucumber plants, so I used cayenne powder and ground cinnamon and combined it and sprinkled it around the cucumber plant and on the leaves, and the ants went away. So there you go.
Excellent.
Vegan gardening hack. Whoop whoop.
I have some cinnamon oil you can mix with water, make a spray if you need.
Ooh, yes, please. I would love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I use it to try to give some ants as well.
All right, you get to do 2 because I'm way ahead of you now.
Got greedy. Yeah. So my next one is relaxing video games. I am the nerd in this group, so I gotta bring some nerd into it. So I have a Switch. I bought mine around the beginning of the pandemic, like a lot of people did. Everyone bought like video game consoles and exercise equipment, and I did both of those things. So I got my Switch, and the first game I got, like most people who got the Switch, first game I got was Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Great. So Switch has a whole genre. I know. I'm sure other consoles have the same, but I don't really play any other consoles. They call them cozy games.
I love it.
But Switch is like, that's like a whole genre for them. Like it's even like you go like cozy game. You look at cozy games. Switch is like the first like cozy games for Switch. Top 10 cozy games. And most of them are like, they're not high stress or cozy. So they're not high stress. There are goals, but it's not like go beat this boss, right? There's like most of them involve like camping, some sort of camping, farming, collecting stuff, making things. I have a couple. I can't remember this. There's a cozy. There's actually 3 cozy games I have, which I can't remember on the top of my head now. I probably looked them up as we're talking. But
I need to look for some of those on the Xbox because my husband has an Xbox and he plays games at night. That's how he de-stresses his video games. But his are like, okay, he plays COD. So my husband likes to cozy. Like murder people. So, and he does a lot of cussing and yelling, and I'm like, that does not sound relaxing. And he's like, it is, it's great. I'm like, oh, okay. It sounds really frustrating.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
But I know they probably have the same kind of thing. I'm sure they don't call it the same thing, but there's got to be like relaxing games or I don't know,
I'll look for you because it's
strategy
definitely
games.
some of them are 2 players. So like I have Animal Crossing, which is great. It's been out for a long time. Spiritfarer, the one I have, it's really fun. I haven't played in a while. I've just been busy. I've been playing Lego Star Wars, which is not a cozy game.
So cute.
The new Star Wars game for Lego is done so well. It's like it's gonna win awards. It's one of the best games of the year, easy. At least in that genre. Spiritfarer is great. Spiritfarer, you've died. You've taken over the job of Spiritfarer, where you have to like go do tasks for different spirits, and you
Like a
collect
fair, like a carnival fair.
farer, like a fairy,
Oh,
or like you're ferrying you're farer, you're ferrying them over
Okay,
the river
okay.
to the Afro.
that makes
you
more
collect
sense.
souls and you take them to the afterlife, the afterlife, or the land of the dead kind of thing. It's not scary or spooky or anything like that. It's not even like super challenging. It's just you collect these spirits, the spirit animals and stuff, and they have
Aw.
different needs. Like you have to like build their homes, and some of them they have to feed them, so you have to like cook. You have to learn how to cook food for them. Because it's involved. It's not just like
Right.
sitting there. It is involved. Great game. Good challenges. Not overly complicated. It does have a learning curve to it, which is nice. There's one called I haven't. It's actually I'm kind of intrigued. This one is
Okay.
called Unpacking. And I haven't played this one yet, but I like the idea. So it brings players into someone else's home and asks you to unpack their belongings at different life stages. It's a puzzle game. It is a puzzle game. And this one I do have. It's actually
It
really
sounds
fun.
like something that Monica from Friends would fucking love.
Yes. Yeah. It's you unpack. It's a puzzle. Like put things where they belong.
Marie Kondo.
You'll learn the backstory of the character and things like that.
That's interesting.
There's one game that you literally send fake letters to people. And so if you tell them, basically you tell them your problems, and they send back letters telling you like based on your problems and what's going on, like to basically reassure you.
Oh,
And I can't. I'm saying
what a comforting game.
It's great. That's the thing about Switch. They have these great. I know again. I can only speak for Switch. Cozy Grove. I have. You have a campsite, and you uncover spirit bears, different types of bears, and they
Oh.
send you on adventures like tasks and on the island to collect different things to make
Right.
things for them to like unlock more of their story to free them.
Oh, I
from-
like that.
add some
To
of their
free
goals.
them. That's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, and there's a lot of games that are like Night in the Woods. And a lot of these games are very
I think you've shown me that one.
farming based, or spirit based, where you're like kind of like a spirit floating around,
Yeah,
kind
I
of
see that as
collecting
a
things,
theme.
handing them off. But it's very airy, it's very flowy.
right.
So yeah, there's cozy games. I even like games, or like even games on your phone. There's like I
Yeah,
like puzzle games. That's very relaxing for me, just sitting and working out puzzles.
yeah.
So cozy games. Again, if you have a Switch, there's a whole genre of cozy games for Switch. I'll look for Xbox, see if there's some options for you.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely want to hear from everyone listening too. If there are some games that you like to play that are relaxing, video games or phone games, please let us know because I'm always looking for something new. I get bored with games easily and then I end up deleting them off my phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And
That's one thing I
Yeah,
do like
we'll see.
about cozy games is you can kind of put them down. They're not so
Yeah.
overly complicated. So like I played Zelda Breath of the Wild, and
Mhm.
it's a beautiful game, and it deserves every award and accolade it gets. It's it's well done graphically, huge story. Played it for a little bit, put it down, and picked it up again. Won't play it. I won't play it.
happens.
It's not because I don't like it. It's because it was just so involved. I'm a type of player who will play for like 3 months, put it down for 3 months, pick it back up. And
Right.
I can't come back and like, okay, so these 5 buttons to do that, I can't do that. But cozy games are great because
Right.
essentially 1 or 2 buttons are used. You're collecting things. It tells you go back to this person and deliver the package. It's great.
And it'll still be there when you get back.
It's there. Some
Right.
of them are real time. So if you go and play at night, it's dark. If it's day, it's day. So yeah, cozy games are great. The next one is I think most people can relate to. Getting around animals or pets.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, because it's kind of I'll go and I'll lay down, cuddle up with my dog Beanie, who's currently laying on the couch in my office, just sleeping, smacking his lips, just sleeping. But I'll go in there, just cuddle up and give him chest scratches, and we'll just kind of just relax
Oh.
together. If you don't have any pets, I mean, going to the dog park. You can go to a dog park and be in the dog park area without a dog. You don't have to have a dog to be in there. So going around and petting the dogs and throwing fetch with them. Most owners won't care, or pet parents, if you prefer, won't care if you play fetch with their dog. Like they're there to get exercise and play and run around.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, bring your animals. There's sanctuaries. Look for sanctuaries in your area.
Yes.
There's quite a few near us we can go to. So when we have pets, pet your cat. I mean, it's also been scientifically proven that being around animals and petting them and showing them affection, then getting affection in return, lowers your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure.
Right.
It
Exactly.
releases dopamine and all these like feel good chemicals in your brain. So
That's why we like the animal videos on TikTok,
yeah.
because it's soothing even just to watch videos of them, let alone being around them. That's even better.
What's funny is they had an AI watch videos on YouTube, just randomly watch videos and just kind of like work itself out what it wanted to watch, and by the end of it, it was only watching cat videos. Seriously, it just was like violence and cars and animals and this that and birthday parties and then cats and then cats and then cats and then that was just cats.
And then just cats.
It was just they're watching.
I
cat
love
videos.
it.
Yeah. Those are my two.
Okay, I
All right,
love it.
good
I
one.
love it. Okay. So using your senses. This is a big thing for me when, again, I'm feeling overwhelmed, which is kind of pretty common for me. My anxiety will get high and I'll get overwhelmed in a situation. So using my senses is really important to me. I love, like, I have what my therapist and I call my like little emergency box. So when I'm feeling those overwhelmed feelings and I might have a panic attack, I use these senses things to kind of center myself and bring myself back to a little bit of reality. So smells. I like to use a really good smelling lotion because it'll combine a smell, a texture, so like a feel as well. So the feel of the lotion on your hands, the smell, if it's a good smell. The first lotion I put into my emergency box turned out to not be a good smell. I thought it was going to be okay because it was a strong smell, but after I used it one time, I was like, no, no. Like it smelled good in a normal situation when I was calm, but then when I got up like anxious, I was like, oh hell no, this is not the smell. So finding the right smell for you when you're anxious is important. Um, Colors. So I love colorful things. I have stones and gems and crystals and beautiful beads all around my desk wherever I work. Not because I think they have some magical powers or anything like that, but because they're beautiful. They're pretty. The colors, the textures, again, the way they feel in my hand, the different shapes, the different weights, everything feels so pretty, looks so pretty. I love all of it. Sounds. So I have, let me see if I can grab it. Hold on. Of course, I can't find it now. I have a little shaker. It almost sounds like you're on the ocean, like in a tropical place, and you've found like some kind of, I don't know, like a coconut husk, and it's got some stuff inside of it, like sand inside of it. It just sounds like this cool tropical sound to me. It just like sand against wood in a way. It is so soothing to me. I love to literally just shake this freaking thing whenever I'm feeling. It's almost like a fidget thing, I guess, too, in a way, right? Because I shake it whenever I'm feeling a little stressed out. and the sound of it will calm me down because I immediately think of the ocean. I think of relaxing on the beach. The second I hear the sound, that's what I envision. And that calms me down. That is like an instant, okay, I can chill now. Like I can calm down. So if I'm adding a smell, a texture, beautiful colors, sounds, and then a taste to a situation. So maybe I have some of my favorite of those little, what are those, Justin peanut butter cups, or
Ooh,
some gummy candy, right? Or a fresh cup of coffee. So there are certain tastes that are very soothing to me, something sweet usually. Even my coffee is sweet. Something sweet is
Coffee
very
is a loose term here.
shut up. Coffee is very soothing to me. Sweet things are very soothing to me. So, in a situation where I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I engage all of my senses in all of these ways, I have an immediate physical reaction. It's amazing. If I combine a good smell, some textures like lotion, something that's colorful and pretty, something that sounds beautiful, and something that tastes great, I'm like, okay, I can make it through this. It's fine. Everything's fine. I don't know what it is about that combination, but it does bring me kind of back to where I am, reminds me that there's good things in life, even if they're tiny little things. So if there's any way to engage your senses when you're feeling super stressed out, that is something that helps me. And it's so odd, and I don't know if it's something that anybody else does when they're stressed out, but I have used my emergency box for quite a few months now. It's truly something that my therapist and I have come up with for myself to use. And it's definitely different. Use your senses.
Interesting. I my thing kind of does that. My next one kind of does that, but it's a little different. So
It does. Yeah, you have, in a way, yes.
yeah,
One of them at least.
yeah. So like my next one is using a fidget quote toy. I don't like calling them toys because it seems like kind of like it's for kids, which it's not.
You call it a gadget.
Yeah, fidget gadget.
There you go.
Yeah, fidget gadget. So like I actually have one in my hand now, and so I have these like little snakes. I have a 3D printer, as I think I brought it more than once. Show.
So cool.
I have this like a little snake, a little like it looks like a little interlocking chain that has like a snake head and a tail on it.
It makes me think of my childhood, like a toy from when I was a kid.
Well, they have those. They have the ones that look like it. You can hold still and it kind of like slither. That it's like I think if you grew up in like early '90s and down, you this like the little plastic snake that you hold and it kind of like it's slithering. Like, if you held it still.
Look, it's alive.
Yeah, crazy. It's kind of like that, but it's like more flippity floppity. Doesn't really hold its shape.
It's fun.
But I can like I'm sure you can hear it. It's plastic. It's 3D printed. But I can like spin it around. I can roll it with my fingers. I can like tie it. I kind of like wrap it into a knot. And if I'm going in, especially if I'm going to a place that's stressful or anxiety inducing, like if I'm going shopping, like a lot of places, if I'm going out with crowds, like the festivals and stuff, concerts, I'll take it with me sometimes. I can kind of just fiddle with it and kind of de-stress and get the anxieties out. If I'm sitting in meetings at work, I'll pull it out and mess with it. I'm sitting in therapy, I'll have it out. If not, I'll have something in my hand messing with. But the snake, my fidget snake, is my go-to. It just kind of gets your energy out. It gives you something else to focus on. It's tactile. There's other ones, not just the snake. There's spinners. We all know the fidget spinners.
Yes.
It's becoming a whole deal now. There's like things that click and rotate and like have ratchets and like have like
and people prefer certain kinds of fidget toys.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about getting a couple extras too. There's some really cool ones out there. I think I saved a couple on TikTok. Somebody was like showing off some really like professional ones. There's ones that they have like a lighter feel to them. Ooh. They don't light. There's no like lighter or anything. No flint, but it's like that.
But that like that's cool.
Well, it looks like a grenade. I pull this pin in and out, and you can like move things around on it. It's really cool. I gotta find it and look at that again. But some really like I would call them professional fidget gadgets. You can get And if you're a person who has prone to stress or anxiety, especially anxiety, and you haven't tried fidgets, try them. Try different ones.
They can be bought for pretty cheap too.
Oh, yeah, ridiculous. You can go to a dollar store and just find a bag of them. Yeah, some are like little pop
Mm.
things. Some of them are like little balls you can squeeze, have different colors, different textures. Me, I like things that move around or click and make some sort of like noise like that. Like again, you can probably hear that noise. So this kind of like plastic on plastic kind of feel. I like it. I even kind of like chew on it sometimes. I don't know. That's again tactile. It's
Yeah.
that is just like something about it just reduces stress and anxiety for me. I'll take it outside.
There you go.
I'll sit outside and watch my videos and like spinning around and back and forth. I used to get weird looks with it at first. People were like, "What the fuck's going to?" But now not really. Like I think people are so used to fidgets and stuff.
Yeah, I
Now-
think it's
now-
pretty common
Now
now.
that we've discovered what they're good for, like it's not just something stupid these kids play with. It's like, oh, he's got a fidget thing. No big deal. But yeah, it's definitely helpful for stressful. I'm not holding it out because I'm stressed. It's just like we're gonna talk about it, and I just have to pick it up.
Right.
Yeah, and any throughout the day, I just kind of keep it with me. I keep it in my pocket. If you're gonna have a fidget, have it be something that can't that you can keep in your pocket. Have it something that is not too bulky,
Yes.
and you want it something that can't be taken from you, considered a weapon.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
So if it has like sharp edges or like it has like it's a fidget. It's also a knife. Don't do that. I'm sure they make fidget knives. I'm sure there's a thing. Wouldn't surprise me. But you have it in your pocket because you always keep it with you. You go to a concert, like nah, you can't do that. Or you go to a store or whatever so. But I would find something. You can be metal, plastic, whatever works for you. Tactile. It can have different textures to it. But yeah, I mean, if you're someone who's prone to stress, especially anxiety, you haven't tried fidgets, check them out. If you have, tried a couple in the past and like, oh, it's weird, it's hard to like, it doesn't work for me, try other ones. Again, there's so many.
Yes, there's so
button
many different
clicks.
options. Yeah.
There's some that are like, they're almost like, they're like, I've seen some metal ones and some plastic ones that are like, they'll have like bubble wrap, a couple of pieces of bubble wrap.
Yes.
But it's like infinite, like pop, pop,
Mhm.
pop, pop. It's
Yes,
some people
yes.
that like feel and sound. That's like very soothing. So yeah, I would look at fidgets. That's definitely one thing that's helped me.
Okay, that's an awesome one. I
I agree.
bought a little fidget toy for my husband, so I agree with you. It actually is like multiple options all in one. It's very cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out which one to pick on my list here. Okay, let's talk about gratitude. So this is probably something that a lot of people talk about when they talk about therapy or anything to relate to mental health. But here's the thing with gratitude. When I lose sight of things to be grateful for, it causes me to spiral. So gratitude, it sometimes is talked about as like at the end of the day, write down 3 things you're grateful for from your day. And that's just kind of, basic and generic. But I really think of it more as something I've talked about recently with my friends and with my therapist is kind of reminding yourself what you have done, like your to-dos instead of your to-dos. And that goes back to this practice I've been doing lately where I talk to myself when I was younger, little Meg. And that helps me remember things to be grateful for. So life has been real difficult for me in the past. My childhood was really horrible. And when there are moments in my current life where I'm super stressed out, I like to remind myself that I have overcome quite a bit in my life, and whatever stress is come my way currently, it's going to be fine. If I have endured all of those things when I had less tools and less of a support system, then I can surely do it now. So remembering where you've come from, remembering how you've grown, and even thinking about kind of who has helped you along the way is also something that I tend to forget when I am upset, I start to spiral and think, everybody hates me, oh, as we all do. But then when you really like take a second and think about it, because, there is that whole concept that your brain does lie to you. It tells you things that are not true. And if you can take a step back and be like, you're lying, you dumb little brain, and be like, no, look what I have done. Look at the people in my life. And also, if you feel like you don't have a lot of things to be grateful for, there's always things that are coming up to look forward to, things that you can be grateful for in the future, especially if you were on a path to bettering your life, bettering yourself. Then there's always that way of looking at gratitude for in the future. Like, say you are going through therapy right now, and you can be like, I am so grateful that I'm doing the work now, because in the future, when these moments happen, it won't be so bad. Or I'm so thankful that I'm doing physical exercise right now, because in the future it won't be as difficult or daunting. So gratitude doesn't have to be about the past or the present. It can also be about future things. But remembering to give some respect to the things that are good in life instead of harping on just the bad things, is a great way for me to stop myself from spiraling. So that is a way that I deal with stress.
You gotta accentuate the positives. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't think I ever do. I don't really do that too much, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I try. You know.
You know how it be.
Ooh, I like your next one.
Yeah, I thought you would. I thought you liked that one. So my next one is scheduling time with friends.
Yes.
I know when we're having rough times, if it's stressful, if it's having a bad week, and a bad month, whatever. Getting those around you who are, especially those who are you recognize are your support group.
Yes.
To whether it's in person, grabbing hey, let's jump on a Zoom or whatever. I mean, like we actually our group of friends, we have a team. Not a team. I use Team for work. We have a Slack, so we can even it doesn't have to be visual. It can be just going into a shared chat room on Discord if you use that with your friends, or like I said, we use Slack, and just like tell them what's going on, or like, hey, what's up with you guys? Just kind of connecting. Just connecting with friends, or maybe family could be family too. Some people are close enough to their family to to consider that part of that support group.
I love how the two of us are just like friends only.
Right. I love my family. We're just not always that eye on things, and my family is definitely a support asset. But my friends are definitely closer on my day to day.
Yeah.
But scheduling like Zoom calls, getting in, and if you have a group of friends who you're finding it difficult to communicate with regularly, and the phone can be a little intrusive, I think, for some.
Mm-hmm.
And feel very obligating, like text message, especially in a group chat, text, like, oh, you gotta be involved, but you're working. Look at using something like a Discord or Slack or something like that. That's a separate application that's on your phone, on your computer. They used to also have more features as far as like voice chats and video and things like that. Look at using that. It'll help you kind of bring close together, because that's what we use. We used Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
And we have all these different messages all over. Like I'd have like 5 chat windows open because like, we're planning someone's birthday thing, and this person, and one of us is upset because this happened. We're talking to a couple here that other friends don't really, care about, which is not a care thing. It's like why would whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just do Slack, and then I'll make chat rooms for all the things, all the topics we talk about. Right.
I love it.
We would have a Facebook message that we're all in, talking about a true crime thing, and we're all in another message group on Facebook talking about something else. I'm like, this is stupid. I can't maintain all these chats, especially when I have someone else, a friend of mine, just about something else. I'm like, okay. So I put this in Slack, and it's like make things so much easier.
Oh my gosh, the organization of our chats are so much better. It does make you want to talk more to your friends, because you're like, well, I have this like category, right? So I know they'll know if they're interested in that subject, they'll reply in that, because they'll be the true crime board.
Exactly. Yeah. It feels, for me, it feels less obligating. It's like, if we're in like a text chat, and there's 5 of us, and 4 of us are talking, but one person's not. It's almost like, why isn't so and so like chat back?
Right.
But Slack, there's no obligation.
Mhm.
Like we have a couple of friends who like never talk in there, and they'll pop
Yep.
in like a life update or like, how's it going, guys? And gone for 3 months, which is fine. That's one thing I love about us. We can just like not
Yeah.
talk and be like, we're friends. It's good.
Yes.
Um,
Love it. Love it.
So
love
yeah,
it.
schedule time with your friends, and I say schedule. Literally say, hey, would you guys mind hanging out on whatever, coming over? I go over to your houses. We
Mhm.
get on video chat Friday at after work, and just like have a dinner or drinks together and chat. We've all done that together.
Yes.
And that's a great de-stressor. Having that support group, and you don't have to talk about your problems if you don't want to. You don't have to share anything.
Right. You
Um,
can just be together and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's helped. That's helped all of us at different points, especially with the whole lockdown stuff.
Yes. I actually made David come over on Saturday because I was having a stressful week and I was like, you need to come over and cook out with me. And he did
Oh, he did.
because
It
he's
was-
the best.
it was
It was
delicious.
great. It was great, great, great. Okay, so I'm going to kind of lead right into one of mine that kind of relates to this. Asking a friend how they're doing and helping them with their problems. So it can be so rewarding to just help someone else and give yourself a break about your own crap and your own things happening in your life. And a lot of the times when you help one of your friends kind of deal with an issue, it reminds you that maybe your life isn't so bad. maybe things are a little bit all right. And it
sucks
gives
because mine's okay.
it does, but it also is just like, okay, I can focus on my friend. I can make their life a little bit better, which in the end will make them smile, will make them happy, which relieves some stress off of their shoulders. And in the end, selfishly, it also does the same thing for you. Like when I'm feeling super stressed out, I don't want to talk about my problems. Like I don't want to talk about that because I feel like a bummer. So then I'm just like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Got any problems? Let's talk about it. I will literally bug my lady friends. I don't usually bug David too much with this, but I bug all of them and ask them how they're doing and if they have any issues because I'm pretty good with giving advice to people and I like to help my friends when they need some help. So reaching out to a friend, asking how they're doing, helping them out, even if it's just to let them vent, just to let them, let it out. You also have no idea what you're doing and who you're talking to when you reach out. If you think all your friends are super great all the time, and maybe because they're always smiling on social media or through text, they seem fine. A lot of people struggle a lot with mental health, and you have no idea what difference you will make just by reaching out to a friend and saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on in your life? And like pushing to hear if there's anything that you could help with. Not just taking their I'm fine, how are you? And then talking about yourself. No, be like, oh, don't worry about me. Let's talk about you. Like, how are you doing? Be that friend because there's a lot of times where that friend saves someone's life because you remind them that they're cared about, that they're loved. So I enjoy reaching out to friends and helping them with their issues. I mean, if anything, it just like makes me avoid my own.
There's nothing healthier than avoiding your own problems.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you've done all you can and you just
True.
want to not think about it for a little bit. So you just
Right.
bug somebody else.
Fair
I think
point.
it's a good one.
It's a good one. It's picking on you. Okay, so mine kind of goes along with your art stuff, your art one. Write.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Write.
I like that.
Write poetry, song lyrics, short stories, long stories. Write a novel.
Mm-hmm.
Write.
Yeah.
I actually have a document. I think you told you this before. I have a document called random lyrics, which whatever that means. I just like whenever like something pops in my head or something bothers me, I just go like, I'm gonna write some song lyrics. Boop 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 doop. Sometimes it's a whole song. Sometimes it's like 3 lines. It just kind of like gets it out of my head, or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, write. Just doesn't matter what it is.
It's a way to creatively express yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. You don't have to like show anybody or read it to anybody or
Right.
publish it on anything or nothing. It doesn't have to be a book. It just like right.
Yeah,
just
nothing
gets
has
it
to
out.
come from it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just like the art for art's sake. Nothing has to come from it. It's just to create something.
Yeah, I think it's probably like 15 pages long of just random things.
Oh, I love that. That's really great.
Yeah, and it's most of it. I mean, you could, I don't know if you would you call it songs or poetry or just random things, but some of it's like I listen to metal, so it's
Hmm.
very the imagery is very metal influenced,
Right.
and so it's also very metaphorical. So if you read it, you'd be like, "Are you okay?" Like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Are you sure? Because I was pretty fucked up. Like, it's trust me, it means rebirth and growing into a new. It's just fine.
And it helps me get it out. It's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty violent. That's not what it means.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh, I like that a lot, though. I really do.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that use writing as a way, not just like journaling, which is a pretty common example of ways to deal with stress, but writing it in like a poetry form or a song lyric form or a story. I love that. That's a great tip. Or even like little quotes.
yeah.
Love it.
Find quotes and like put them down. Whatever. Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything that gets something out of your head and onto a physical or even a digital
Hmm.
means would is useful.
That's a good one. Okay, well, speaking of getting your thoughts down in a physical way, so I have some therapy worksheets that I use that really make me like kind of question my thoughts. I my therapy book is downstairs, so I can't like physically read them, but I do remember a few of the thoughts. So what it kind of starts off with is it says, what is the thought that is kind of your stuck point that's bothering you right now? So, for example, let's say, okay, so like my parents are dead. So this is a good example. Like my mother hates me, right? So that's your thought. That's what you're thinking. And one of the first questions is, are there any extreme or unrealistic words in that sentence? And the next question is, are there any like infinite words or like I don't know how to say it. Hidden words. There you go. They're like hidden words that kind of change the meaning of this sentence. So when I say things like my mother hates me, in reality, what I'm saying is my mother always hates me, right? There's all that hidden always in the sentence. And then hate is kind of an extreme word. So most of the time people don't hate you, right? So this worksheet kind of makes me break down those hidden words in my sentences of, my thoughts, those extreme words in my thoughts. And then it kind of makes me think, okay, well, it's not that intense. It's not always, right? It's not always hate. It's sometimes dislike, but it's not always hate. But my favorite question is this thought something that is likely or possible but not actually likely? And this is where I think of things, so like it's likely that my mother is disappointed in me, or no, it's possible that my mother hates me, but it's more likely that she's just disappointed in something that I'm doing. So it kind of makes you go from like this extreme thought and break it down logically, which is beautiful to see in a worksheet. I love a good freaking physical worksheet. So it takes this like extreme thought and makes you break it down to where it's like, well, I mean, that's kind of ludicrous. Where it kind of is like, really, does she really hate you all the time? It kind of makes you just go back to that whole thought of your brain is lying to you. How can you question it? And how can you kind of break down your thought process, especially when you start to kind of spiral and you get those extreme thoughts? These worksheets have been tremendous for me to break down those extreme spiraling thoughts and be like, they're not nearly as, it's not necessary. Like all that's just not. I'm like making it so much more than it needs to be. Or as my therapist once said, um, Megan, there is not a problem and there doesn't need to be. You don't need to make a problem. I was like,
Ooh.
oh, shut up.
It's like
Like
don't
that's so
don't
good.
therapist me. I say it to mine too. She'll say something like that. I go, don't do therapy to me. She's so used to my weirdness and my antics. She just laughs at me. She's like,
"Yep."
"Did you pay me
Oh,
for
I
this?"
throw it back at her all the time. I'm like, "Remember that time you said there doesn't need to be a problem and I don't need to make one?" I'm like, I say that to myself all the time, and she
Right.
was like, "Good." Like, oh, there doesn't always need to be chaos. So if you can find some kind of therapy worksheets or like mental health worksheets where it kind of helps you break down your thought process, those can be amazing. Oh my God, they can be life changing. So I really encourage you to kind of Google that, look some stuff up. Just fight your thoughts a little bit. It'll help with stress big time. Your turn.
My turn. All right. So mine is breathe. It's out, and it's seriously just sit back, take a second, just like. You ever see the TikTok videos? It's like like unclench your jaw. It's just like, hey, here's a reminder: unclench your
Yes.
jaw, relax your
Yes.
shoulders. It's just that. It's like unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders,
Mhm.
just take a breath. Like how often, like especially like a lot of us, if you're like work and then like family and maybe you have school and animals and kids and
Yeah.
and then like how often do you go? Just like, take a breath. It's okay. Breathe. Just and it's especially if you don't have the time to time with friends or mess around with fidgets or go outside or play video game. You're in the middle of a work day. You can't
Right.
stop. Just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe. Even if
Yes.
schedule it. Put in your phone okay, whatever your personal assistant. I'm not gonna say mine because I'll set it off. Like, hey Siri, whose phone just went off. Set a timer for 2 hours. Like, okay, sit back. My dog, he'd like
the
that.
dog
noise.
did not like that.
Not like those. But just sit back and take a breath. Stop, take a breath. Even if you're if you're working retail, I've worked retail. You're on the floor. You don't have to take a 15-minute break. Take a step back from your registers, from the aisles you're working on, whatever you're doing, and breathe. Right.
Yes.
That's and again, that's the thing. Science has shown just taking the second to breathe in deep and let it out does so much just for your blood pressure and for your body temperature and everything else. Just kind of definitely it just kind of brings everything back down and centered.
Yeah, and it's because we tend to hold our breaths or kind of have more shallow breathing when we're anxious, when we're stressed out, when we're like feeling extreme emotions. So my very first therapist back in like my early 20s, she taught me that to not breathe with my chest when I'm anxious, to breathe with my stomach. She's like, women are always taught to suck it in and be like, skinny. But we should breathe through our stomachs and like make full like breaths.
Yes.
Are you okay? I was like, oh gosh.
That's interesting. So, and then I was like, God, what was that? I was just watching something. I talk about breathing and how it like affects, especially deep breathing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just to your point, think about how babies breathe.
Yeah.
How do babies breathe? You've obviously seen a baby sleeping, right? It's sleep, right? Even when you're sleeping, how do you like? You don't see their chest rise; you see the stomach rise. You see the whole torso because they breathe. They take those deep, soothing breaths because they don't have that same, like pay the bills and turn in your reports,
right?
And feed the dog and pick up the kids from soccer and all that stuff, right? They don't have that because babies breathe. We forget how to breathe.
We really truly do.
It
sounds bizarre, but we do.
Because we're so used to that stress sits in your chest.
Because
think about where do people say their stress sits on their shoulders and their back, okay? And what's in the middle of your shoulders and your back on that? It's your chest. It's your lungs. It's that where you're taking in breaths, right?
And we're all tensed up.
Right. So it's hard to like when you take that, drop those shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath. Take a second. Go back to what you're doing. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. Be 20 minutes. It can be just a good, deep, solid.
Yes.
Pull it in. Let your stomach expand. To your point, I love that point. That's a great point.
Yes.
Again, that's my
big point. Yeah.
How babies breathe because they deep because they don't have you don't have that. You haven't learned to like not do that anymore.
And if you've ever had like a panic attack or an anxiety attack, you know that that's all chest breath. That's all like I can't take a breath. It's like, oh God, it freaks me out to even think
Oh
about
yeah.
it. But yes, there, the practice of actually breathing and like focusing on your breath in and out, and that can calm you down so quickly, because that is literally what meditation is you just focus on your breath while you're meditating. So it's very comforting. I love that. It sounds so simple, but it's very powerful. Good tip, David.
Yay.
I have another one that sounds really simple, but it can be very powerful too. So be kind to yourself. When you are feeling stressed out, you have a tendency, or at least I do, to then start to kind of berate yourself. Um, why are you feeling overwhelmed? Why are you feeling stressed? Other people seem to be able to handle life stress, and you can't. These are my thoughts. So I tend to kind of beat myself up for being stressed, which then causes me to be more stressed. See how dumb that is? That's dumb. That's dumb. So when I get in those
You weren't being
moments and I'm
kind to
like,
yourself just then.
I know I wasn't. When I get in those moments and I'm like so stressed and I want to then beat myself up for it, I like to remind myself, like, to talk to myself the way I would a friend or my child. So I would never berate them. I would never make them feel horrible for feeling stressed. I would remind them to be kind to themselves. And you are allowed to feel overwhelmed. It's part of life. Life can be very stressful. It's not like you're trying to avoid the feelings of stress. Sometimes you do need to just sit in it and be stressed and deal with it, and then figure out how to get out of that situation. But you need to be kind to yourself, because there's a tendency to kind of just make it worse by being a dick to yourself. And I do this to myself. That's why it's number one on my list. That was the first thing I wrote down, because I tend to, make myself feel horrible for even feeling stressed out, as if I'm not allowed to feel that at all, which is freaking crazy talk. So just be nice to yourself. Talk to yourself kindly.
Yeah, I think if you're having problems doing that, finding something you've accomplished or a small victory was
Mm-hmm.
helpful. Like even if it's like, hey, I made a good breakfast this morning.
Right.
Like I'm not feeling good myself. At least I got up and I made like breakfast this morning. And actually got like started the day well. You know,
Right.
defining something
Gave
you've
myself nutrients.
right something you've done well. Even if it's like you sent the email. Just if you can have problems, talk to yourself right. Find something you've done well and praise yourself for that.
I like that. That's a good point.
Like I
Good, good.
there are days where I'm like having hard code. I'm driving me nuts, and I'm having a problem I can't figure out. And I figure it out. I do a victory laps. Pick up my drink, my coffee, my water, and it's like walk around the house one good time. But
I like that. I
I
like that a
when you
lot.
and I worked together, I did it. Remember that? People are like, "What are you doing?" Like victory lap. I have my cup
Yeah,
of coffee,
yeah.
walk around the office, like duh, duh. I take one lap and sit down. Like I was like, yeah, I saw the problem. I figured out it was dumb. Like a stupid for loop was airing out. And I figured out why, and somebody will loop.
But now you get to celebrate that. I like that.
Right.
That's really cute.
That's it.
Cute, cute. All
Celebrate the
right,
small
your
things.
turn. Ooh, I like this
I
one.
figured you would.
Mm-hmm.
Cook something simple and or comforting.
Love it.
Right? Doesn't have to be a big thing. You don't have to go be bananas. Maybe you wouldn't have bananas. Um, but I would say I say simple and or comforting because something like some people, if you love to cook and like really getting in there making like this elaborate thing is is stress reducing for you. For me, I say like that's a kitchen I gotta clean up. I love cooking,
I
but
know,
if I'm
exactly.
stressed, I don't want to cook a whole situation because I gotta clean the kitchen up, and that adds to it, right? Like pancakes, stupid. I have one bowl, 2 spoons
Yep.
and at a pan. Like that's super easy to clean. Oatmeal. Make a bowl of oatmeal. It's warming. It's nice.
Yeah.
You can make it in the microwave with a bowl. Nothing. You don't have to put the right amount of water. You can just eyeball it 99% of the time. It comes out fine, right? Or cookies. Get some pre-made cookie dough. Throw some cookies on a
Oh,
pan. Throw it in
yes.
the oven. Almost no mess, and you got cookies. And who doesn't love the smell of cookies? Especially if it's
Right.
comforting or some sort of like, and especially if it makes something you grew up with.
Oh,
Just the
yes.
smells in in your house or whatever like
Mhm.
that can really help reduce, right? Kind of pull you back into it. Like I don't really like soup. I like stews. And I don't in like even and especially like chicken noodle soups, like chicken noodle soups. I like,
Yeah.
but I had a cold this past weekend, and I made myself some chicken noodle soup. It was chunky, it wasn't soupy, but it was comforting. I was like, I'm not like feeling that great. I need something to help me feel
Right.
better and kind of feel like homey and just chill. And so I made peanut butter sandwiches and some chicken noodle soup.
So cute.
But yeah, it's
I like that it's something simple that you're saying.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be elaborate. Simple, something that you know you're going to love. Don't try something new. Just something that's like comforting.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
You know what my go-tos for me is? They sound weird.
Okay, great.
Peanut butter sandwich, a little bit of maple
Knew
syrup
it.
on it. Maple syrup
should
peanut
have
butter
known.
sandwich. It's it's 2 pieces of bread, peanut butter, a little maple syrup on it. Put them together. That's it. And it's like because like when I was a kid and we're at like my aunt's house and running with my cousins or my brothers and stuff, we're acting stupid. And when you like I'm hungry, here we get peanut butter in a bowl, maple syrup, mix it up, sweetened peanut buttery and creamy sandwiches. Eat it and go. I was like, that's like a grow up little like food I ate. That's comforting for me, right? So like
You're so
things
cute.
that are hopefully simple and quick and comforting and warming, or bring you back to a time when you're like, hey, it wasn't stressful then, right? Doing that, like, I think can really pull you back.
If you have an air fryer and you've never put a peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and maple syrup in an air fryer, you have missed out.
Just like, like the whole like slop it in there or on a sandwich.
In the sandwich.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna do that right now.
No, you can't.
That sounds so
No,
good.
it is so good because it's a perfect bit of toast. And I mean, it is, and you only have to put it in for like 2 minutes,
Can you
maybe.
put anything on the outside of the bread or just as is?
I think I just left mine as is.
Okay, well, I
But
know
you
what I'm
gotta
doing.
really watch it, like, so
Well,
it doesn't burn.
You haven't
but
told me
it's-
this. I'm mad at you now.
Sorry, it's so good.
I'm
All right,
doing that.
air fryer PB&J's. Gotta try it.
Good, no.
All right, let's talk about something else that's comforting. So, comfort movies, books, and music. So, things that again are not new, but things that you love, movies you've watched before that you love, books you've read before that you love, music that you know makes you feel good. I have a favorite book. It's called The Mysteries of Pittsburgh by Michael Chabon, and he is amazing. And that is a book that not a lot of people know about, and it is a big comfort to me. I've reread it like over 10 times in my life, I think. And it's like one of maybe 3 books I've read more than once, but it's amazing. There's definitely music I listen to that makes me feel good when I'm in a cranky mood. There's certain like bands that make me feel better. So music is go-to for a lot of people. Like my friend Melissa, that is her thing. If she is cranky, music it is. Or movies, horror movies to be exact for her. For me, it'd be more like 80s movies, like, Breakfast Club or Pretty in Pink or whatever, those kinds of movies.
You're basic as fuck, you know that.
However, I am trying a new challenge, and I'm going to talk about it on the podcast because the more I talk about it, the more I'm going to force myself to do it. Okay, so I'm doing a movie challenge. I have a hard time sitting down to watch movies because I have this incessant need to be doing things and being productive. I don't like to seem lazy. So I'm working on it with therapy, whatever. So something I'm doing that I have done for quite a while is schedule times in the week where I force myself to relax. So I have like relaxation periods on my calendar. But one of the things I'm doing to force myself to relax is a movie challenge. I'm going to watch the top 100 movies according to IMDb. Figured that was the best option. The lists are pretty comparable. And I'm going to rate them. You can find it on TikTok, Miss Meg Stone, MS Meg Stone. Yeah, that's kind of gives a little bit of my name, but it's fine. Because I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be fun. I don't know if anybody's going to give a crap about my opinion about movies since I very rarely watch them, but it's almost like if you can get me to like a movie, then it's good. Because I don't really like movies very often. So I pulled my first movie. It's an oldie, like a real big oldie, like 1957. It's number 60 on the list. What was it called? Hold on. Paths of Glory. So going to watch that first. It's definitely probably not the best first movie, but I pulled it out of a bowl. It is what it is. But I think this is going to be a great way for me to relax. So when I'm having one of those moments where I am beyond stressed, I now have something where I'm like, oh, well, I have to watch this movie. So that means my ass has to sit down, put my phone down, and actually watch a movie, because I've promised that I will review them. I've promised that I will watch them because I've told enough people now. So I think it's a great way for me to relax, to kind of watch movies enough, like taking enough time to really fully chill. I can listen to music for a little bit, but most of the time I'm still going to get up and go do something. If I'm reading, I probably only read for at the most like an hour, and then I'm like, I got to do something else. So a movie is going to be pretty time consuming, and I'm excited about it. It's like couch time. Chill, Megan. No stress. It's fine.
It's cool, man.
I mean, and I'm going to make David watch some of them with me.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
course. He's got a media room.
yeah.
Invade his space.
That's
Duh.
awesome. Especially if you get Disney movie on there, oh, you can watch with me.
There are some Disney movies
We
on there.
gotta
I
do
think
it.
we have to watch the whole Toy Story.
It's so good. Oh my god.
I know. I've
I
watched
mean,
all of them, but
if-
not like in a row, and I might cry.
If
I'll
you're inclined to cry,
bunch.
there's a couple scenes, especially the last couple. It's like,
Oh,
man. Even I'm like,
we could cry together, David.
right?
Oh, okay, we are down to our last three tips for dealing with stress. Go.
Okay, so mine is window shop.
I love this. I do this all the time.
If retail therapy is a thing,
Mhm.
I know people who go to Amazon, put stuff in their shopping carts, and just empty them.
Yeah.
Because just like, oh, I want that and that and that and that and that. No, never mind. It's like your bill is 40,000. Okay, we're gonna do that. There's a comedian who was like, you ever been up late at night and just want to see and decide how much of a yacht you can afford? Like, what is my budget today? 500 million. Let's see what I can buy with that. And you don't have to buy anything. It's just like window shop. It's like, especially if you have an outdoor mall, which again goes along with to get outside. We have like an outdoor shopping center near me, and I just kind of walk around the stores and look in the windows, and like, I'm not gonna go in there. It's like a women's clothing shop. Like, I don't wear women's clothing, so I'm not gonna go in. But like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, they go with my color. Weird. That's kind of cool. It's just kind of like gets you out, gets you looking, gets the brain moving, and it kind of like helps you kind of like forget about what's stressing you out, clears your mind. Sometimes I find like if you do stuff like this, whatever's stressing you out, especially if it's a problem, pulling you away from it kind of clears your head, and you can look at like a fresh new brain, right?
Yes.
And window shopping can be digital. Go to Amazon, go to Best Buy, Target, whatever, and just shop around, look at stuff. Look at coffee makers. Right?
Yes.
Just look at stuff you like. You don't have to buy anything. You can look at like, what is the most expensive coffee maker? What does it do? Why do you need one that does that? That's crazy. Right? Well, I like.
And if you're doing this now, as we are talking, it is getting closer to the holiday season. Make a list of the things that you find that you really do love, and that can be your Christmas list that you give to people. So as you are window shopping and you add things to your cart and you're like, you know what, I really would like that thing. I'm not just like playing around here. Yeah. Add that link to a list, and then when people are like, what can I buy you? You can be like, I literally have a freaking list here. Go.
And some sites, I mean, obviously Amazon, but the other site, I think Target and Walmart both do. They have like, you can actually make a list and like add things to a digital list you can like make public and share. I like going to Kickstarter.
Oh, that's a good place to window shop too.
And looking at different Kickstarters and like seeing
I
like
that, yeah.
Like I like going to Kickstarter and looking at what like the highest thing is. Right? like what do you get if you like Kickstarter thing for like 20 grand? What do you get? Like, oh my, they fly you out. No, that's kind of cool, Like, I can't do it, but it's fun. Just doing these things kind of just like pulls you away from your everyday things that you're doing. Like, stressors should kind of like, again, to me, essentially should pull you away from whatever it is. It
Right.
might be something that's still sitting there, right? Maybe the deadline, or you're someone like the chore or whatever you got to do is stress that's causing stress. It's still going to be there, right?
Right.
But it's a healthy way
Mhm.
to pull yourself out, bring yourself back down to kind of bring yourself down to reality, clear your brain. You can kind of attack that thing at a different mindset.
Yes, I agree. And I'll give you some examples of great places in Georgia that you can go do this. You can go to Marietta Square. You could go to Ponce City Market. You could go to oh gosh, the Chattahoochee Works,
Oh yeah.
Chattahoochee Food Works. They have a lot of little shops there too. I like the outdoor shopping idea of window shopping. I like that part of it. That seems like a lot of fun. And then online is also a great idea. Just be careful you don't like accidentally hit go. Buy
Yeah,
now.
be careful of that.
Like
Yeah,
be
don't-
careful.
Hopefully they don't have a process. You know.
Yeah, I hope so.
By the way.
Because like on Amazon, I can just click buy now, and then there's like nothing else, and it's like I already bought it. So like, be careful. Okay, my last one. Our last two are so polar opposites.
Exact opposite. Not even on
This
purpose. either.
is David and I to an F and T. Okay, my number 10 is just go to bed. Just go the fuck to bed, as the book says, or go to fuck to
Go
sleep.
sleep.
Just go to bed. If the day just like freaking sucks and everything sucks and you're just mad and stressed out, just go to bed. Like, you are more than likely to feel at least a little bit better when you wake up. And if anything, at least you don't have to think for a while, and you can just go get a good night's sleep and
You
just
can't be
go the
stressed.
fuck to bed.
You can't be stressed if you're not conscious.
Right, exactly. Like, I will just say I need to go to bed early tonight. One, I'm tired, and also I'm just like so stressed out that I just want to lay in my bed, TikTok until I can't keep my eyes open, and I accidentally like click things, and then just go to sleep. So yes, that's a weird, I know it sounds so silly, but sometimes you just have to like almost give up and just be like, forget it for today. Today's done. I'm over it.
I do that
Go
when
to
I have
bed.
I do that when I have a migraine. I'm like, I'm going to bed. If I can
Like, it's over.
if I can just go to sleep, if I can pain into unconsciousness, it won't hurt when I wake up in the morning or whatever.
Exactly, literally. That's how I feel. So just go the fuck to bed.
Go to bed.
Or you could do what David's gonna say, which is the opposite.
Dead, very much opposite.
Mhm.
Go to the gym.
Jesus, why does that sound so stupid?
Hey,
Compared to what I said,
That's the
I'm like,
fast part
just go to sleep, loser. And then you're like, no, go to the gym.
go hit stuff
Like,
and go lick up
I'm
everything.
so lazy.
Because obviously, exercise, as we know, increases endorphins, increases dopamine, increases all the happy chemicals. It
that's
actually
funny.
reduces stress because it increases your heart rate, but it also reduces stress. It gets out all the energy, everything going on. Great way to throw on some loud music, focus on it.
Yes.
Maybe you go for a run. Like, this is generally exercise, but for me, it's go to the gym. So like I have a heavy bag at the gym I go to. It's like we had this like the kind of like it's a ring, but it's like not a real ring. It's hard to explain. There's a couple heavy bags in there, and I'll spend about half hour just like going to town.
Knocking crap out.
Heck yeah. I mean,
Love it.
I got to say before, I've actually trained in Muay Thai and boxing, kickboxing and stuff. So I'll go in there and I'll do routines, and I'll put 5 minute, I can put 5 rounds, 3 minutes each, 30-second rest in between. By the time I'm done with it, I'm just drenched. I can't breathe. My chest hurts.
And you've gotten it out.
got it out. I'm just I've hurt my hand doing it. It's I actually indigo. Okay.
The gym is a great place to get your emotions
Oh yeah.
out.
And there's also if you've made friends there, people you can talk
Oh,
to
that's
them. See what they're
true.
doing, that sort of thing. So, it's a great way to get your energy out. Again, all the endorphins. It also improves your physical health as well as your mental health.
Mhm. Yes.
Put on a podcast. Put on our podcast.
Yeah.
You can
just,
learn.
listen
Put on
to
an
us.
audio book. Right. Exactly. So, I've, I've had weeks. I'm like, I'm gonna get in the morning. I'm gonna eat something. I'm gonna go to the gym. Like, you want to hang out Saturday? I can after I go to the gym.
I
Go.
have to
I'm gonna
go
lift some
because it'll
stuff.
make me feel better.
Punch some things. If I punch someone in real life and get an assault charge, I don't need it. I have a clean record. Let's try to keep it that way as long as I can. But some days it's so close.
So close, so close. Oh, I love that. Go to the gym, get it out physically. Those are our 20 ways that we deal with stress. But I did ask some of our friends to give us some examples of ways that they deal with stress. So I'm going to quickly go through these. So our friend Tyra uses the Calm app. I use Calm, but I also use Insight. So there's two options. These are meditation apps. So they have a lot of guided meditation. They have sleep stories, sleep music, relaxation music, all the stuffs. She says it has helped me actually be able to accept how I meditate, which is an interesting sentence. So she must meditate, maybe not like normal people do, like, maybe she doesn't get super deep into it, but she's accepted that she might be a light meditator. I'm not really sure. I didn't ask to do any more details, but I love that she has an app that she goes to when she's feeling stressed because it helps her calm down. The Calm app is amazing. I encourage it. You also can go on YouTube, and they have Calm videos that are free. So encourage that. Our friend Rosie also second the Calm app. She uses it all the time. She also loves gardening, just like I said. And I love the sentence. Hanging out with my plants is calming, and it teaches me to accept the things I can't control, like critters that eat my veggies.
Like the bunny rabbit that eat your tomatoes.
Yes, that's what she was saying today. So that's lovely. I love that so much. So second for the gardening. Sherlanda, who's my neighbor, she loves lavender and like essential oils of lavender. So I love lavender too. It's so calming. The smell is so soothing to me. Some people hate it, so it depends on if you like lavender or not, but it's very nice.
If you're inclined to have like plugins or air fresheners in your home, there you can go to like places like Bath and Body Works, other things like that. A lot of them have essential oil based plugins. So like for like relaxation or clear mind, stuff like that, they can have like lavender and eucalyptus. Being mindful if you have pets. Some pets don't do well with certain scents and certain oils.
That's true.
So be careful how it's used. But yeah, if you don't really can't just like have oils around the house, that's one way to do it.
Yes, definitely. And the last tip is from our friend Melissa. She loves to color. So adult coloring books are pretty popular, and they can be about any freaking subject on the planet. So Melissa and I both have true crime coloring books that have like serial killer pictures in them. So I have some coloring books that have cuss words and then pretty flowers around them. So like it can be pretty much anything. Adult coloring is a big deal. You can get really pretty markers and really nice crayons and marker and gel pens and stuff like that. So coloring can be a mindless way to like watch TV and still make something pretty. And again, creating art just to create art, because coloring in a picture is art, and it's not going to be for anything or anything like that. So that's a great tip as well. All right, we've given you now like 15, like 25 different tips here. Yes. Come on now. You guys you'll be fine.
Why y'all stressed? You just heard this.
Fine. Now, we encourage you all to try some of these tips, and of course, give us your tips on how you handle your stress, because we're always looking for new ways to deal with it. And if you are dealing with a lot of stress right now, I'm going to give you a little, this is not a sponsor or an ad, though that'd be cool. I use BetterHelp as my therapy system, and I encourage you to look into them if you have the ability to use BetterHelp. It's a great way to get therapy from your house at any time or from your phone at any time. So there's a special little free plug-in there, BetterHelp. Anyway, if you would like to sponsor our podcast, you can do so by emailing us at theaveragevegans@gmail.com. You can find our podcast and all of the episodes at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, or anywhere else you get your podcasts fix. Make sure to leave us a review, of course, we love, and recommend us to your friends, family, coworkers, strangers, the delivery driver. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Average Vegans. Email us, like I said, at theaveragevegans@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your vegan story, your favorite treats. You'll find all the show notes and links and all that stuff at theaveragevegans.com. And of course, we want to hear from you guys. But that's it for this week.
All right. Well, until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.